Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell out before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, good thing to say, I dabbled in stand-up for something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Hello, boys and girls. Look, I'm starting to put up my Christmas decorations. Welcome to the Chrissie Mayr podcast. You can listen to this program on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Rumble, Rockfin, even. We're all over Twitch, Facebook sometimes. This is an unstoppable force. But speaking of unstoppable forces, before I bring in our fabulous guest, I have a couple of stand-up comedy shows to promote. Yes, I will be in New York City. It's not in my calendar yet, but I'll be doing my good friend Gino Bisconti's birthday show a couple weeks from 3 weeks from today. Wednesday, December 27th at Stand Up New York is my friend Gino Bisconti's birthday show. Come see myself, Gino, Keanu Thompson. And Stand Up New York is on the Upper West Side, West 78th in New York City. So not if you're worried about it being in a bad area, it's not a bad area. And then I'll be headlining in San Diego the first weekend of the new year, Friday, January 5th, Saturday, January 6th at the Mic Drop Comedy Club out there in San Diego. One show Friday, 2 shows Saturday. My lovely, good girlfriend and comedian Lila Hart will be featuring for me that weekend. She's a blast. She's so funny. You will love her. Then I'll be back in Dallas Thursday, January 25th at one of my very favorite clubs, Hyenas in Dallas. That's Thursday, January 5th. Probably, hopefully, Lila and or Keanu will be there. We'll figure it out. And I'm working on more dates, so don't you worry your pretty little head. I'm doing this all with a touchscreen, by the way. My mouse crapped out on me moments before we went live. So if you see me looking like I'm working in mission control, that's why. Okay, our guest today is somebody who we kind of met. We internet met this past last Sunday on John Glasgow's show on Newsmax. He's a very interesting man. I cannot wait to learn more about him. Some may know him as the Jersey Outlaw. Some may know him as the funniest guy in New Jersey. He has many names. Welcome to the show, Jimmie Lee.
Hello. Hi, honey. Hi, Chrissie. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here. You're such an interesting person and I was like, it took several minutes for me to kind of just take you all in because you wear these white sunglasses. I still haven't seen your face. No one knows what your face looks like. There it is. Well,
There I am. But I gotta have that enigma, you know. Jersey Outlaw to have the enigma.
No, it good to know.
But I'm real. See, I'm real.
Okay, good. No, you're not a bot. That was so great to see you on Newsmax last Sunday. It was very cool.
Good time, you and me.
We had a good time. I wasn't familiar with John Glasgow, but I like his show. I love Newsmax.
Cop kind of sort of, right?
Yeah, I like that he's just like, hey comedians, what do you think of, basically it's the easiest thing to just let comedians talk about comedy. And he just had to sit back and
for you and me, right?
Yeah, and you were cracking jokes, and I was more like just coming from an opinion point of view. Because the last time I told a joke on Newsmax, it was a fried chicken joke. It didn't go over well. I feel like it may have it created a little bit of a splash online. So I was trying to play it safe this past time. So you're just such an interesting guy. You are actually a dentist. You are a real adult man with a real job.
I have a real
You're
job. Right.
and I was listening to an interview of you and Howie Mandel, and you explained that you're from a Jewish family. Your mom basically told you and your brother, like, "Sorry, you guys are going to become doctors,"
Correct.
and then it happened, which is kind of amazing. Like if my mom growing up had told us kids to be doctors, I would have just been like, "Okay," and then laughed in her face. And I love how you just ended up finding comedy a bit later on in life, and I just wanna hear about your kind of journey and how you came from not necessarily in the corporate world, the medical world, working in, like, just managing a dentist office, or I don't know, but you were actually a dentist by trade, right? Kind of moved up.
And I own several locations. I have 4 locations. So I'm a business administrator and also a dentist. So I
Wow.
have a lot of hats. But my passion and love, has always been comedy and entertaining people and having fun. And I like to be a character and be in the center of the action. And I was like that since I was a kid. So it's not like I changed as a person. I just got older. And I think as you get older, you want to go where your heart tells you and you want to do what makes you feel good. And that's how I've been pretty much my whole life. I do where I feel good inside.
What drew you to teeth when your mom was like, "Okay, well, you have to be a doctor of some sort?"
Well, I wanted to be an orthodontist because you'll laugh at this. When I was young and I went to my orthodontist, he had the summers. He worked in the summers only in the mornings. And when I went in, the girls did everything. He was on the phone half the time. I said, "This is the job I want to do." Where
That
you had
looks good.
everything. So I go to dental school, apply for ortho, don't get in. And then I'm practicing down where I grew up down in Atlantic City area for maybe about 10 years. And I started to study a DSO model. All that means is it's multi-unit. And I put that into play around 2000. And I bought 5 locations and I have,
Wow.
and it's harder since COVID, but with staffing and revenue. But I mean, that's kind of my way I make my living. And then, I go out on the street and insult people, make fun of them, and have social media people and build a social media following, get famous, because that's what makes me feel good going to the restaurants, being the center of attention, tipping the guy so I get a good seat. It's kind of like that old school thing I grew up with when I grew up down in Atlantic City and the showrooms and casinos were there. It was that kind of a vibe.
I've
That's all.
performed in Atlantic City at just the Claridge, or we call it the Clurge,
Yeah.
in the Claridge Hotel, which is not a nice hotel,
Mhm.
but it's fun. It just reminds me of,
That's an older original hotel that was probably there when I was a kid. It's probably one of the few left original. It's an
wow.
old building, yeah, right by Bally's. So
Yeah, the Atlantic City Comedy Club runs out of there,
yeah,
and they're kind of in partnership with New York Comedy Club here in the city, and I was trying to place your accent because the more I listen to you, the more do you get a lot that you have, like, a Philly
yeah,
accent?
yeah. I get
Okay,
South Jersey accent. Yep.
okay. I guess they're pretty close to each other.
hmm
And, okay, that's really cool. I'm just impressed. You're like, "Yeah, I was a dentist, and then I just bought 5 locations." I'm just like, "Wow,
No,
good
no,
for
no.
you."
I had a business model, and I do acquisitions. I don't do startups. So you have to buy an office and you have to look at the metrics and make sure that the revenues are there. You have to look at a spreadsheet. You have to look at their profit. You have to look at if the business is enhanceable when you buy it based on a producing dentist. There's a lot to it. It's not just winging it and taking a chance. You're studying metrics and return on investment and stuff. It's a business, basically. Like, say you own 5 McDonald's, same exact thing, multi-unit business. That's just that I do healthcare. That's really all.
Okay. Did you go to business school?
No, I'm just very savvy with business and numbers and just smart. And the other key ingredient in this is how to operate a business and handle your staff. And you have to take care of them. And when they do well, you got to give them a little something on the side. And you got to bonus your doctors well. And if they want certain supplies and certain labs, you have to make people happy. And you got to wear a lot of hats. and then you're controller, and you have to make sure you make money and can pay your bills and make a profit. It's not the easiest job. It's very time consuming, and I spend hours on it. And then my release is to go out on the weekends to New York and go out and eat nice and have fun on the street and kibitz with people and film and do social media, because that's what makes me happy, Chrissy, at this point in my life. I'm not young. I'm a middle-aged guy. And that's really what I want to do. I want to get famous and have fun, because nobody's going to live forever. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Or
that's
me or
true.
anybody. Yeah.
Unless they figure out how to upload our consciousness into AI. But I feel like only the really, really rich people are going to have a crack at that.
The best I came up with is when I die to get frozen, but I don't think I'll be coming back. But it beats being in the ground or getting, cremated. But that's the best I came up with. Cryogenics, it's called.
Yeah, do the Walt Disney route. So
Exactly. That's it right there. You got it.
You always knew you were funny. You always had this kind of entertainment bug within you.
Mhm.
When did you first start? Like, did you look into open mics? When did you first start?
I did music, Chris, for a long
Okay.
time with a Grammy producer, and I just couldn't get what I wanted. So I stopped, and I did some open mics, and I was naturally funny and entertaining, and people liked me. And I said, oh, I'll stick with this. And I did stand up from
Out in Jersey, you started the open mics by where you're from?
I did. You mentioned stand up New York. I worked with Bob DeBono for 2 years. And
I love Bob. Jimmy,
Yeah.
oh my God. Bob DeBono was at my wedding. He did a Trump impression. It was the best part of my wedding.
He
It was
had
my
the
favorite
bringer
thing.
shows, and I used to go once a month for 2 years. And he was very nice. And I met Whitney Cummings there one night. I met the crazy lunatic Spanish guy that was funny. I forget his name. I met a lot of funny people.
Carlos Mencia?
No. If you say the name,
Diaz?
they called him the Latin lunatic. They called him, and I couldn't stop laughing when I met him.
Joey Diaz? I don't know.
No, not him.
Okay.
I know him. It's not him. But to make a long story short, we were doing there, and we did a lot of stuff in South Jersey and Philly. But I stopped to do social media, YouTube stuff, and I noticed when I did street comedy that I got way more views by just going out on the street with the leather coat. I started working with models, like you see in the background here, and I gravitated to security guards because it brands me better. And I do like a shoot with a limousine, security guards, and we go out on the street, and we go out about 10 hours when we do an official shoot. And I just go out on the street and kid with people, insult them, and have fun. And then I have really good editors, and we go all over the country, and we've gotten known from street comedy. And then thanks to the H3 podcast, Ethan Klein, who has been so kind to me, we get on that show quite a bit, and he's helped me tremendously to brand. And I owe Ethan the world and his team.
How did you connect with Ethan Klein? Because I didn't think he knew of, I mean, I don't really watch his stuff much, but I didn't think he knew or cared about comedy.
Found me through some of the videos, and we met in New York when he lived in New York. We met at Fresco's, and when he was starting out, he had his wife filming on the camera, and he did what they call reaction videos before he had his podcast, and we stayed in touch. And he's just a super nice person, and he's been very helpful to me, and I'm very thankful to him because, to be honest, I didn't have a lot of a following when I started, and I'm growing, and I'm not big, but I'm known now. But a lot of it's because of him. So if Ethan or any of the crew's watching, I really owe them because they've helped me a lot. You know, when you do entertainment, Chrissy, not many people are interested in you. Not many people help.
It's a steady stream of rejection until you give up or die.
Right. And if you don't, Chris, have balls of steel and really enjoy doing it, because it's not like I'm making money doing this, you quit. and I don't want to quit because I enjoy it. So, that's kind of how I got to Ethan.
How did he help you? Did he say you're really funny, but you need help with social media, or like you're really funny?
No. He helped me in that he platformed me. That's what.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So he had you on. So in the beginning, when you met him, he was doing man on the street stuff, and
no. I've been doing man on the street stuff for a long time. He would do the reaction video.
Okay.
Make fun of it, and then he did a podcast. He started a podcast. I'm going to say in 2017. He asked me to be on it, and I had to go to LA. So when I had a trip with my
Ooh.
family, I emailed Zach, that's one of his guys, and I went out to Encino and went on his podcast. And then he moved the podcast to another area, and I've been going on the podcast the last few years. He's a super
Wow.
nice guy, and we become like in a weird, not a weird way, but we become close. Not that we break bread and eat dinner together, but I mean, I can DM and text them, and they're just very very supportive of me. I'm very loyal to them. Like I have their back no matter what. I can list reasons and all that, but I don't need to. It's just like we have a really
Yeah.
tight relationship, and I would always do anything for them they ask because they've helped me tremendously. And I'm older, and I'm very loyal to people that are nice because that's just
I
what I am.
I feel you on that. I really do remember the people who gave me, like, I remember the very first person who had me come on at Compound Media. It was Aaron Berg and Gino Bisconti. I am always very grateful to Elijah Schaefer, the first guy who ever gave me a shot at going on a show at the Blaze. Like, you always remember
You,
these
when
folks.
you change and you become too much of a jerk and you forget the people, then you're an a-hole because you have to be humble because there's a saying that you're going to see the same people on the way up that on
Yep.
the way down that you saw on the way up.
Yep.
And what you don't want to do is, make enemies. You want to make friends and you want to be nice to people and build good relationships with the right people. Just like I've done with my dental business. Same thing.
Right. That's really cool. And so when you would first when so he would react to
He would do
your man on
reaction
the street
video
videos
and I
and
would get a lot of views. And then, I would send him another one in another year or 6 months. And sometimes
okay,
he would
cool.
react, sometimes he would. So we built a relationship. Now, Chrissy, this has been for 10 years. I didn't just meet Ethan overnight. I met Ethan 10 years ago. So it's not like this just happened.
Cool.
Mhm.
No, and that's great. And so he had you come on the show in Encino and basically gave you like carte blanche, like just be
Well, it
yourself.
was a podcast. Yeah, pretty much. It was like an hour podcast, just like
Yeah.
yours. Pretty much similar. Mhm.
Oh, that's so neat. Yeah, it's you do have to remember the people who helped you out at first because
Mhm.
nobody's got an audience at first. We all,
Nobody has
yeah,
anything, and the people that are big can platform and help you, and you have to be appreciative of that and thank them. You can't be jerks. You have to be nice.
definitely. Okay, that's really neat. I listened to your interview with Howie Mandel, and it came up that your real name is Jimmy Wiener, which
And the
they
daughter,
they
the
they
daughter
are.
was dying. She says, "Why don't you keep that?"
Yeah, they were like, "That's a much better stage name."
It is a better staging, but I branded the other name when I did music, and I took that with me to comedy. And I'm known as Jimmie Lee, the Jersey Outlaw. So I don't think I'm going to change the name, Chris. To be honest with you,
You've gone
just
too far to go back to being Wiener now.
yeah, we'll do that with the dental. We'll keep that for the dental. Exactly.
And so Lee is actually your wife's,
My
that's a
wife's
name from your
name.
wife's maiden name.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, that's really cool. And I've listened to a lot of your stuff, your man on the street stuff. Your delivery style is similar to like a Lenny Bruce or a Dangerfield or like a Red Fox. Like you're very jokey and yeah, it's very classic, that classic like comedian
Insult
style.
style, offensive comedy. And what I want the viewers to understand is it's a character where I laugh at people and laugh at myself. I don't have a mean bone in my body. It's a character uh, of comedy I do, just like the wrestlers, they're characters. It doesn't mean that's how they really
Of
are.
course. Yeah, I
And
think
I'm
that's obvious.
always identified as the heel in H3 because I'm a character. I insult people, make fun of their ethnicity, their weight, their age. But that's just the
Yeah.
style of
Those
comedy.
are the classics. You have to make fun of that
Correct.
stuff.
That's what I grew up on in the 80s, and that's what I like. And I particularly the comedy today isn't my style. So I try, Chrissy, to do the comedy I grew up on that I like. That's all. I
Good,
don't mean
and
to
you
offend
should
people. I
never
just do
co
what I
never
enjoy.
compromise. Yeah, and almost similar to do you know Jackie Martling? Jackie
Yeah.
the Joke Man? Like, just how he's just, like, rapid fire, like, the man
One
knows a
one
million
line,
jokes.
same kind of
Yeah.
style. Yeah. The guy from Stern. Yep.
Yeah, he was so great. I'm gonna play a little tiny clip of one of your let's see, one of your this was from a video of yours that did very, very well. This was Dangerously Funny, which is a your man on the street show that you
Correct.
do for YouTube, basically.
Mhm.
And now my touch screen isn't working. Amazing.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, it's your being on the street show. It's called Dangerously Funny, and like you said, you'll go to different cities. You'll talk to people, and I really I applaud your balls, because
Yeah.
this clip that I'm trying to bring up that I laughed so hysterically at is you just go up to two black guys that are sitting down in New York City, and I don't know
Bank
what year this is
was it the
from.
bank robbery one?
Yes, and you're like,
Yeah.
here's what you said, here's what we're gonna do with a straight face. You're
Hysterical.
like,
Oh,
we're gonna rob a bank. You're gonna be the guy who counts the money.
yeah.
We're gonna split it 6 ways.
Right.
And like you have this perfect balance of like you're goofy, you're confident, but you're also lovable. And anyone who listens to you can tell you don't have a bad bone in your body. And I
Right.
think
It's
that's why you're
just
able
for
to get
fun.
away with
Get
as
away
much
with
as
it.
you are.
Correct. People know. I hope you find the clip because it is a funny one.
I have it. My mouse is dead and there's no way I can get this touch screen on here. So much for that. Okay. And now I can't even get the thing off. Great. Fealty, if you're in the chat and you want to jump in and help me with some technicalness, that would be incredible. But I really love
person in the studio.
I do. I can't get this off the screen. That's fine. I just thought that was so great, and I noticed in this interview with Howie Mandel, because he's extremely famous, but I noticed in talking to you, he found you very, very funny. He did this podcast with him and his daughter.
Right. And I have an interesting thing, and I've been studying comedians constantly on YouTube, the older style ones, and I watch everything they do, and I study, and I don't write down, I memorize, and I write some of my own jokes, take some of other people's jokes. I can go to a situation, Chris, and this was Don Rickles, and he's the only comedian ever that could do it, and look at a situation on the street, and you can make it funny. And that's a gift. And the only guy that I knew ever that did it was Don Rickles. And it's pretty much all I'd live. So if I took you out on the street with me in New York, do you live in the city, hon?
I live in Westchester, but I'm in the city every week.
Right. So
every Monday. That would be great.
If you were in, like, say, on a Saturday, you'd have lunch. We go down to Balazar. We have lunch with somebody. You
Balthazar. Wow.
Yep, on Spring Street. I go all the time. So you go have lunch, and they treat us like royalty in there. And then we go on the street, and like you just watch the situations. Oh, you got it. There it is.
I got it. My man.
And I have a way to just look at a situation, make it funny.
Okay, we're gonna play this.
So hop on up. We do one. I'll tell you what I'll do. Make a deal. I'll give you 100 today and 20 next week. All right, we'll be back in a week. Here's what we're gonna do. There's a bank across the street. I have guns. We're gonna go in a 6. We're gonna say, "It's a hold up." What we got to do? We're gonna run back here. We're gonna meet back here. He's gonna count.
Dude, look at that lady in the back looking, watching.
We don't know each other. All right, are you ready? Set. I'm kidding.
Go.
He's looking at me like we're gonna do something. Get some real jewelry. You don't need the costume jewelry from the boardwalk. I'll take it. Nice jewelry. He's got fucking costume jewelry.
I just think most comedians I know would not be caught dead trying any of this. Like, most comics are so scared.
What I do is that yeah, you want to play that? I'll tell you when it.
Okay.
Everything's working good.
Everything real.
You look good. Get the
right
Invisalign. Close the diastema.
Get Invisalign.
How he is. How he is. How he is. Here's your how he is. How he is. You look good. Now you're good.
Supreme, man.
Peace and
We
love.
out here, man.
What's your
Already.
name?
King Supreme.
King Supreme.
Already, we out here.
He can prove it too. He can prove it. Come here, babe. What is your hurry?
I love this.
I'm Filipina.
Filipino? Let me see your immigration paper. I got a black card. You got a green card?
I'm from Canada.
Yeah. You know what?
This is the stuff that everyone
So what I do
finds
is
funny. It's like this stuff never stopped being funny.
Right.
It's just people stopped having the balls.
The thing I do, Chris, is stuff that no one would do. They'll think about this, they won't do it, and that's why it's funny. So it's called shock comedy. And Howie said something on his podcast. He says, "Well, when Jeff Ross insult someone, he asks permission. I go, if I do it that way, it's not funny. If I go up to a Jewish couple, I go, can I insult your wife? And the guy goes, sure. And I go, oh, you're ugly. It's not funny. But if I go up to the guy and I go, when we go on hunts and run out of animals, we chase the wife, and I think you could do a little better. There's an Asian girl right in the corner, and it's $40 in, 40 out. I got it covered. That's funny because it's unexpected and shock comedy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I do. And I think people kind of like Rickles, they love you or they hate you,
Right.
But I got to do what is my style, what's me. I'm not going to start doing observational comedy and do Alan King clean comedy and Jerry Seinfeld observation. I have to be Jimmie Lee, the Jersey Outlaw. I'm a character. That's
Right.
a good way to describe
And
me.
that comes across pretty clearly. I thought it was very interesting in your interview with Howie. He found you very funny, but at the same time, he seemed so nervous and afraid to. He generally just seems nervous to make or laugh at certain jokes. And I listened during this interview. He kept telling you, "Be careful, you're funny, but be careful." And I'm like, wow, Howie. I think he's great. He's a legend.
So I said,
obviously.
you know why we need the Chinese people? He said, why? I said, because the Jews have a place to eat Sunday night.
That's funny.
When we were kids, all the Jews went to the Chinese restaurant Sunday. That's funny because it's true. That's the
right. And I noticed with Howie, Howie is part of this establishment Hollywood class that I think, while he's very talented and funny and very successful, like I think people like him are I think they're afraid of having everything taken away. I think they're deathly afraid of being canceled.
Right. They have to be a little careful. A guy like me that's a nobody has really nothing to lose, to be honest.
But I think everyone should be like that. Imagine if everyone performed like they had nothing to lose.
Well, that's what makes comedians funny. That's why they arrested Lenny Bruce, why Dice Clay didn't have the longevity. Dice Clay was great, but today he can't do that. See?
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting, like someone like him, like Howie, who's so successful, is still like, oh, well, you can't really say something to an overweight girl. Oh, you got to be careful. And he's having you on, and you're like having a blast. And I'm like, you're almost like the high status guy.
Didn't quite get me, but she liked me. And when she did get me, she was laughing. Every time I did a joke, Howie would look at the daughter. You got that one? You get that one? And Howie was so cute. And he's a super nice guy, too. You could tell he's kind and he's nice. He reminds me of Ethan. Just two nice guys.
Wow.
Nice guys.
And he discovered you, I think, through watching Ethan Klein's show
as
well.
Ethan mentioned me to him. Ethan mentioned me to Howie. And Howie said, I'll do anything for Ethan. They're actually very tight. Ethan is not only super successful, super nice, he's connected to a lot of good people, and he's a kind person. Not everybody in entertainment's kind. Most of them.
No, definitely not.
Right, Chris, you know that. See, I have two different jobs in a professional setting. It's a different type of person than in the entertainment business. It's different.
I mean, that's what I wonder. Are there aspects of dentistry that are cutthroat and
no, it's more professional and you're respected and people treat you nice.
Okay. No, not like showbiz.
Opposite of show. Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing that upsets me because I'm a sensitive, kind guy. Like I'll do anything for people, and people hurt me a lot. And now I have to be a little more careful with some of the social media people and people I deal with because I've had some issues recently. So my guard's up, and now my team's guard's up, and we're screening people like unbelievably better. Almost like when I hire a dentist for the company, they go through like 3 layers of screening, and I'm finding that necessary in the entertainment field because I've had some back falls with some people, and I'm learning, Chris, the hard way. I'm a trusting, kind, generous, nice guy. The entertainment business is not that at all.
What happened?
I don't want to go into details because there was a guy I met years ago, Paul Tudor Jones. He ran a big commodity fund, and he always said, if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't say anything.
That's what Grandma always said. Yeah, I guess, and not that I want to know every detail. I'm just trying to figure out like the name of how you got screwed over. Was it like a social media?
Trusting the wrong people. A lot of the people, Chris, that vied me were H3 clout people that wanted to get, seen on that. and using me.
Okay.
And, like that. So I'll say this to you because you seem actually like a really sweet girl. How many years have you been in comedy, hon?
Like 12,
So
13. Yeah.
you're more seasoned, but the point I'm saying is, number one, you're a girl. Number two, you're pretty. That's good and bad because you have to be careful with people. They will use you and take advantage of you, and you just need to be careful. I'm finding out that I'm getting known more. I'm far from famous, but I'm more known and more recognized now. And it works two ways. And Howie Mandel told me this. It can work for you in that fans come up, they vibe you, they hug you, they love you. And it can work against you in that people get jealous and they want to hurt you. So you need to be careful as a comedian. I don't know if you're married or have a guy that's with you to protect you or a manager.
I just got married a couple of months ago.
Well, good. Make sure
and now I'm pregnant.
Oh, well, congratulations. But here's what's your hubby's name, hon?
Frank.
Tell Frank that he's got to be by your side and kind of take care of you because
and he is.
That was my point. Yeah. Because I've been burned a little bit in the last few months and I learned some valuable lessons. And my wife's always tells me you learn a lot through adversity more than success. And it's really true. And I would say to you, be careful with people. And I'm being
For
a little
sure.
more.
I feel you, Jimmie, because even though you learn all these lessons, people still screw you over in different ways. And then you have to learn different lessons. I mean, I had a guy who I met who was more of a political commentator type guy who sort of dabbled in comedy. He's like, oh, you're great. But he had a much bigger following than me. And he's like, we got to go on tour together. We have the same kind of brand. We can do this sort of
what was the outcome? What happened?
We can do this sort of like free speech tour. And we booked all these dates. And I was like, hey, so-and-so. I mean, I've talked about this, but it's like, hey, so can you promote a little? We got to start tweeting this out. We got to start moving tickets. Right. And he was like, what? The tickets aren't just selling just based on my name. That's it. I'm out. And like we had booked, I don't know, maybe 8 shows or something like that, maybe more.
You set it all up and he bails out in the middle.
Yes. All he had to do was retweet and show up, but he just didn't want to promote at all because he's used to being like a booked speaker who makes probably thousands of dollars just to show up. And
he didn't realize the metric was different for stand-up.
You have to promote. And honestly, like Jimmie, some of these dates I did by myself, but some of them we had to cancel. And a couple of relationships with club managers and those clubs were forever damaged. They were like, you really fucked us. You like,
because if you let them down once a club, there's too many comedians. They're not going to have you back.
Oh yeah. And then
what did you learn from that to just rely on yourself and go do your shows yourself?
I learned like don't be seduced by somebody with a big following who you because I was like, ooh, part of me was like that will help me sell tickets. That will like our brands of comedy are similar. We can we'll be more successful together than apart. And I didn't thoroughly vet this guy. I didn't really I should have looked into him more deeply. I should have let that trust develop over more time instead of getting excited and then booking a bunch of shows with him because it was a big slate.
What I'm doing is I'm starting Chrissie a lot slower with new people. We're going to do it in the new year as we rebuild our team. We had about 8. We have about 4 to 5. We need a couple more to be on the street, but it's going to be built slowly and the test periods will be longer. And we're going to make sure their intentions are what align with us, not to use us to platform with other content creators and do bad things and stuff like that. And I will say to you, you're a comedian and you do a lot of shows and stuff, and just be careful with people. And I recommend do your shows yourself and have your husband help you and rely on you. If you rely on you, you're safe. I do that in my dental business. Rely on yourself.
Great advice. Mm-hmm. And it's these folks that sometimes I wish I wish I didn't have to upload my own podcast episodes. Oh, I wish I didn't have to
Yeah, but you know what? They're going to be done right because you rely on yourself.
Right. That's the way to go, because when you get so big and you have no idea what's going on with your own money, you don't look at any of the business stuff. That's when people can take advantage and steal from you.
What happened with Billy Joel with his brother-in-law years ago. Exactly that story.
Wow.
Yep. Stole all his money.
That's insane. How just
trusted him. The first wife's husband. Yeah, really bad guy. That's why I said when you make money, you and your husband should be taking care of your books and taking care of everything. Maybe one day when we go in the city and eat off the cuff, not on the podcast, I'll give you some good business advice. And as a friend, not as a comedian, but just talk to you about what to do with your business.
Sweet.
I'm good with the business stuff, but please don't trust nobody with your finances and your money. Just
no, you're right. Please. Trust no one. That's the message, everyone listening.
I learned it the hard way in the last few months. I really did. Yeah.
Damn, that sucks. Well, there was somebody who, God, I was talking about it on an episode a couple weeks ago. There was someone, a comedian, who got tricked into thinking that they had been booked at Brad Garrett's comedy club in Las Vegas.
And they weren't booked.
And I don't know if it got so far as to him going there to realize that but it was a complete scam. It was just somebody on Facebook who took their money to be like, which is the first red flag. You never give someone money to perform.
Why would a comedian pay to? Yeah, well, the guy probably didn't know the business.
Yeah, he might have been newer, but it was just
Put it like this: when I go on like Ethan or Howie, I don't pay. So when you meet these guys and they go, "We're going to get you on the late night show. We're going to get you on all these podcasts, and it's $5,000 a month." That's the lie, because if you're decently good and you have nice relationships, they don't charge you to go on their shows and podcasts. You're not going to get paid, but you don't get charged. So you're right. When they ask for the upfront money, it's a big scam.
And also when you encounter somebody who asks for money, like to just go on a podcast or something, it's like you got to look at who's in their ear. Because do you remember Bagel Boss? He was a little bit of a viral sensation a few years ago. He was like a short, not a midget, but just a short man who had a meltdown in a bagel shop in Long Island. And they referred to him as the Bagel Boss because he very much had like short man's disease. Like everything is about him being short, and he just couldn't get past it. And he had like this mega meltdown in the bagel store. And he was like, it was the kind of thing where like someone's holding on his forehead and he's like, yeah, it was just visually funny.
Go viral a little bit from
it. Went so viral. He had a full, I would say 20 minutes of fame. And I had him on my Compound Media show. At first time it was fine, but then he wanted to come on again, and then he insisted on being paid. And I was like, Bagel Boss, this is not how this works. Like, I don't pay anyone.
He didn't understand the metrics too well. Yeah.
And wait
a minute, did he go on the second time, or was he a jerk?
No. I like, maybe I had him on once or twice, but once he started asking for money, I was like, okay, I think we're good. And then he burned out.
That's funny.
His ego got too big. He thought he was more than he was, and he could have really used that 15 minutes of fame to his advantage. He could have been smarter about it, but instead he just
now, or has he fizzled out?
God, I don't know. He might have even died. I heard rumors that he had a stroke. I don't know. If anybody can let's do a wellness check on Bagel Boss. If anybody knows, let me know. But you have to stay humble no matter how big you get or how many opportunities you get. And I think for me, like, I love how confident you are on these man on the street videos.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really cool. I really struggle with a lot of imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. And like I'll talk to anybody on stage, but the idea of like doing what you do, just going out into a crowd, like going out into the street, I'd be like, I'm afraid I'm gonna get cut. Like I feel like I'm gonna get.
People, and it's interesting because people, they're not dumb. They know, they see cameras. They know you're having fun, and you gotta look at a situation to know you're gonna hit heavy or light. And if you're not sure, you do a little self-deprecating, or you do just standard jokes, and once you see the love, then you decide where you're going next. That's my gift, is that I can just size something up. And I got so many jokes in the back pocket, I can make situations funny. It's like situational comedy and shock comedy. And what's unique with me is there is nobody, Chrissy, doing this. Nobody will do this. That's the other thing. My wife always says you're going to get famous or get killed. That's what she says to me.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is out there now. Everything's so PC.
And I love that you don't give a fuck, and you should never give a fuck. And I like that you're not being stifled at all by the current climate, because you're just like, I think you either get to a certain level of age or experience, you get to a place where you just don't give a fuck. And
right. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like me or not like me, I'm still going down to Pink's Hot Dogs. I'm still gonna, go out on the street and have fun and kid with people. And there's a lot of stuff we just did in Hollywood this year. And I can think of this scene where there were some Asian women with some British guys. And I said, listen, guys, let me tell you how this goes. When you stop buying them Chanel handbags, you're not going to see them anymore. And why are the Asian women laughing? Because that they like
it's true. So here's your YouTube channel. Tell me, is this your
yes.
Which video is this?
Let's see where you're at here.
Could it be the month ago from Hollywood?
So I'll show you a very funny video. Go to is it Bonkers in Hollywood? Go to that one.
This one.
Look at this, guys.
And I love that you're like the perfect example of fake it till you make it, because you hire security guys to walk around with you.
Correct.
Already gives the illusion of
correct.
Of course you're gonna get eyeballs.
That's why the models went in the garbage, because
it's so smart.
The security guards are great, and they're telling me when these guys aren't. This is the wrong place. Don't do it. So this is a very funny video. There's just one.
Chip. Help me out. Where you going? Put some socks on. Only the Jews can walk around with no socks. Happy Rosh Hashanah. How the hell are you?
Great editing.
We're all brothers and sisters. One day you live in my neighborhood and I'll live in yours, right?
All right.
Where's your...
You have the same glasses as this woman. Oh my gosh.
That's why we revive it, that we had the white glasses together.
My neighborhood, and I'll live in yours, right?
All right.
Where's your glasses? You're making a spectacle of yourself. You are missing out. We could have a threesome.
Oh my God.
And I only. It's your daughter? Get the hell. I mean,
no way. This is mother-daughter.
Well, I got stifled on that one because I didn't know that.
This is a mother-daughter combo. I would have.
Oh, you know what good one, Chrissy? You know what a good one? Go scroll down and go to the best NYC roast. That is one of the funniest videos. Go down. It's maybe a year old. Go older. Yeah. Go to, hold on. Let me look. It is so funny. Keep going. Slow down.
Here we go. Best New York City roast.
Oh my God, Chris. Is this one of the best reels?
Look, do you use the same security guards every time?
Well, no, I'm in different cities. You got to watch the couple minutes of this, but put the audio up. It's hysterical.
Is there a particular time I should start?
Oh, just watch it from the beginning. It's hysterical.
Like the insurance money. It's not that difficult to do. Are these the kids?
Yes.
Put them in a home. You do me a favor. You stay out of gay bars. I'll stay in them. You son of a bitch, you.
Watch this one.
Me and this guy represent the largest penis size differential in the history of New York City today. Listen to me, you're shrinking. Did you take preparation H?
Okay, you do.
Oh my God, just banging on the restaurant. I love this.
I got a pull-up doll now. Takes my breath away. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let the air out of her. She flies around the room. She plays hard to get. Really? I found out my daughter's a lesbian.
Oh my God! All right, no, of course not.
She got designer Dikeys. Dikeys? Yeah, but she returned them because the tongues weren't long enough. Oh my goodness! You know Osama bin Laden?
I did.
Oh my God!
Joey, come here. Put the camera down, Joe. They want to see you. Osama been drinking. He's right here behind the camera. Oh, I bet you when you guys call that your dad can hear you. Take a look at these goddamn ears. I bet everything you say, he can hear everything you say. I know something about her you don't know. Tell me. She used to like the Quarter Pounder, but when she met you, she fell in love with the Whopper.
It's so silly.
Who is this guy?
I'm our father, yeah.
You made some bad decisions. Let's talk. What made you jump in? Was it the money? Because it's not worth all the money in the world to sleep with this guy. All right? He's a premature
this
ejaculate.
is so great. You're bringing so much joy.
Which one's available for the celebrity Jimmie Lee?
Now go to the end of the reel. Go to the last 50 seconds. You're going to die.
No. This guy's Hawaiian. I was at Don Ho's house in Hawaii. Go home. No one wants you here.
Good Canadian.
You're a pain in the ass. Buy an ice cube and go skate.
What? Oh wait, did I miss it?
Well,
here's your do this. Go ahead, your do.
Here's your fucking no-no.
This guy's Hawaiian. I was at Don Ho's house in Hawaii, the Ho house. The Ho house. Keep him quiet.
Aw.
I'm not talking to you.
He's a
Keep
little
quiet.
schnauzer.
Stop. Hold, pipe down. Pipe down. It's a lady
Aw.
from the cemetery. Come here.
Oh
They
my God.
reincarnated her. She died 2 years ago. She's fucking back. I thought you died. I went to your fucking viewing. Now you're back. Holy shit. Canadian? Go home. No one wants you here.
Oh yeah, that's good. Oh my God, you're great. This is
Go-
you're so lovable.
Chrissy, go buy an ice cube and go skate. Who comes up with that? Come on. Who makes? I don't know where it comes
Like
from.
it's funny without even
funny as
it's
hell.
funny without really understanding what even the hell that means.
That's what
That's the
Stafford
best.
said. He said, your comedy is funny for all the wrong reasons. He says this is an art. He can't understand what it is. So that's why I felt, go back to a serious note, the stand-up, I never did bad with it, but it wasn't my forte. That's a good way to say. I could do stand-up. I have jokes. I memorized my set. I had skits. I brought my road manager up. I did cute things. But in terms of the character and the energy and the excitement and the FOMO, it is street comedy for me. That's my thing.
Yeah, you're better on the move. You are better as a man on the street, just going up to people because you really excel in crowd work and your improv skills. And like,
Right.
yeah, you're using all the jokes that you have memorized, and some you're just coming up with on the spot. And it's great. And look how much joy you're bringing to people, and that the people that are visiting New York City or whatever these cities are, like, will remember that forever. Be like, oh my God, remember when the guy with the glasses came up to us and he said I looked like I died 2 years ago, and you were able to get away with more because you're like kind and sweet about it.
I've been in restaurants in LA, and I was leaving Boa one night, and these 4 black girls come like, you just made fun of us downtown today, but we love you. And I'm like,
They
come on,
followed
take
you.
a picture. No, I have them in the reel. And I said, what did I say? And they remembered, and I said, that's me. They go, well, you had all these security guards in a limousine, but people see, here's the thing. People remember me when they meet me one time. So that's kind of that gift of an entertainer, that charisma, whether you were like Sinatra or Tom Jones, stuff like that. If you have that, and that's why I always watch Chrissy videos of Tom and Frank and Don Rickles and Rodney Dangerfield, because I watch the intuitions. Like you can go to a girl and say, may I say something? Or you can go, may I say something? And, and you go, you got to be one of the ugliest broads that I saw in my life. If your face was on a building, it would be condemned. But it's how you say it. And you're asking permission to insult someone. It's kind of funny. Like, say I meet a guy from Egypt. I say, I hope you find a parking place for your camel. And I walk away.
That's a classic. Yeah.
It's classic old style stuff. Or if a lady got big boobs, I say, what time you let you hear out of them? Let me know. So it's a little fresh. And I have a bunch of English jokes when I meet English people. They're all stock jokes. But I have all the jokes I write, I memorize, and I study a lot. So, it comes off easy, but it is a lot of work. Just like if you go do a show, it's not like you just got good by winging it. You wrote your lines, you figured out through doing your shows what doesn't work to remove, and you know how to place your jokes, and you have to memorize them, and you come off and look great. But hello, it didn't just happen. And that's what people don't get. They don't realize the work that goes behind what you do.
When you make it look easy.
And so do you when you do stand-up, but is it, Chrissy? It's a lot of work, just like anything you do.
Right. It's you got to put in the 10,000 hours.
And when you're out weekends shopping, and you can ask my wife, I'll sit in front of the YouTube for 4 hours home. I'll watch Groucho Marx. I'll watch Jackie Leonard, who was the precursor to Don Rickles. Say one day you're going to find yourself, Chrissy, you'll be very disappointed. You're doing a very good job. When I figure out what job you're doing, I'm going to call you, let you know. And by the way, I know you're a photographer. You look a lot better in the dark room. You see that. But how do I know these jokes? Because I study comedians, and I take the good ones or rewrite them, and I watch the intonation, how Dangerfield would tell a joke, or Rickles. You got to go to lady. May I say something? And the girl goes, well, you annoy me. You're annoying. And they expect you to say something nice, So if I ever got lucky to get on late night, I'm going to walk on Jimmy Kimmel. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to say, hi, Johnny. That's going to be my joke. Just
will you ever, like through all these hours that you,
I want to get on Jimmy Kimmel, walk out, and I want to go, all these people, Jimmy came out to see me. And I'm going to sit down and go, hello, Johnny. You know, like he's Johnny Carson. I'm going to play like I'm senile. I'll go, Johnny. Yeah. Is this Johnny Carson?
Jimmy, when you look through these old, not films, but old videos of like the greats,
reminds me of me growing up and when I felt good and watched the shows and laughed my ass off when I was a kid. Yeah.
Will you ever repeat their jokes like as part of your stock?
I'm not going to lie to you. I've taken jokes, and what I'm getting better at, Chris, which is interesting, is I can take now a front or a punch of a joke and rewrite a whole new joke. So
okay, so you'll do joke surgery.
Yeah. Is that what you call joke surgery?
No, I don't know. I just like
that's a good way to say it. But I write a lot of my own stuff now. Like I said to my wife, I went to a fight 2 days ago and a hockey game broke out. Opposites, that opposites are funny, puns are funny, but the way you write a joke, setup has to be bigger, a punch has to be shorter. 3-word punches are always funny. I dated a fat girl and she always said, Jimmy, what's your favorite sexual position with me? I said, with you, honey, in, big setup, short punch. But that's by studying comedians and watching. I do famous quotes. I have a lot of famous quotes I do. The older people like it. I say, Romeo told Juliet, get off the balcony, get on the pill. Quotes like that. Yeah, they're cute anecdotes. King Kong, he went up the Empire State Building. He said, find time for an elevator strike. Stuff like that. It's stupid stuff. You have to think. Tarzan said to Jane, let's monkey around a little bit.
Will you, when you're doing Man on the Street, will you ever, who won't you approach? What are like red flags of somebody like, okay, I won't.
You have to be careful with racial now. So I can go up to, ethnic people, could be Black, Spanish, Asian, but the Asian and the Spanish can work a little bit, but I won't do racial with any Black. I'm cute. I can do age and weight. Now, I also learned you can insult a fat man, but when you insult a fat woman, they get very angry.
Why is that?
I went to a girl. I said, there's something underneath your chin. And she said, what is it? I said, your other chin. She didn't like
Oh, fuck. That's good.
But when I went to a guy, I said, I keep seeing at the buffet, you got to stop because rumor has it you're expanding. I say, when you get a shoe shine, you got to take the guy's word for it. They laugh.
That's
but
funny.
You got to be careful with women.
Do you think that women have a worse sense of humor?
Well, young girls, if they're not H3 fans, they don't like me because I do offensive comedy and they're very politically correct and they're very serious. I do a lot of my wife's Chinese, obviously, so I do Asian jokes that are so funny. I can't wait to go on Bobby Lee because I have all these jokes ready for him when I go back to LA. I have a Spanish jokes. I have Italian jokes. I go up to Italian guys, say, you guys just sit at home smelling your guns. I know who you are. And then I go up to the guy. I said I spoke to Fabo Fabinici, and he wanted me to give you a message. And the guy says, what? I says, you'll be dead in the morning. Just so you know, like they're mopsy. So
younger girls,
they're not
don't have the best sense of humor. Any other groups you feel like tend to in your experience?
Older people love me. Blacks and Italians love me. I don't know why, but I've been doing this long enough to know where I fit. Older women, they're good.
Because no one's talking to them. Older women are happy to get any attention.
Right. I go up to the Jewish woman. I go, what are those bags under your eyes? Are they Gucci? Are you taking a room at Saks? What's going on? Snap out of it. I've already moved all your husband's money into your name. Next time he tries to reach the medicine cabinet, hit him. So I do that shit. And the old people love me because they grew up on the comedy I'm doing, so they remember it. The young girls, they get steamed up.
They're not watching comedy. They don't
understand anything I'm doing. But the H3 fans through Ethan that are young, he has a lot of young fans. They love me because they're used to me because they see me on their podcast a lot. See? So I kind of know my metrics with my crowd. Just like if you do a show, if you get insulted. You probably have a lot of stock jokes if somebody rips you up or hits you on the stage.
I'll just roast somebody on the spot. Yeah,
Right,
and
so
I
you have to have
tend to
those
get a lot.
jokes in your pocket, don't you? You have
Yeah,
to
every
have
once in a while, like I'll be on a live stream. There's only like a handful of people in the YouTube world that I absolutely cannot stand. But like, yeah, if not like a fight will break out, but if there's someone who's getting on my nerves, who's
you
kind
have
of in
you got
bad faith, yeah, there's
right.
default things I can say. Yeah.
And I have, they're called outs in comedy. I have a zillion of them. So you have to
Good.
have them.
It's good to be prepared. Yeah.
The
good
other
to have
one, Chris, I learned that I'm getting really good at is my tags after my jokes are funny. Like if I do a joke and a guy don't laugh, I go, "You're the one that bought my album." You know what I mean? So I make a tag funnier when they don't respond to the joke. And I think that's another art of comedy is to be funny when they don't laugh at your joke or they laugh a little, and you can have a tag that's funnier. So I'm working now on writing tags, and I've been doing that for 6 months, and it's actually working. And even my social media go, whatever you're doing on the end of the jokes with the extra lines are funnier than the jokes. So that's another thing I'm learning as I go.
Right. Have a plan for when it works out and have a plan for if it doesn't work out or if something bombs. It's like it's a win-win.
Correct.
Yeah, you really should write a book. A good night, Mr. One of my friends in the chat is saying you should write a book. Because your story is so interesting.
I got a friend who's a German Jew. He just told me he bought the Anne Frank app so he can find the hiding places when he goes to Germany.
There you go.
You didn't like that.
I love an Anne Frank joke.
It's so stupid. I told the Arab guy, make up with the Jewish guy. I could get him to make you a corned beef sandwich.
That's great and topical.
I told my Arab friend I told him I had so much gears last night I thought I was being followed by Arabs. You see?
That's fun. I love that.
I went, Chrissy, to a meeting 2 days ago for premature ejaculators. Now I went, but I came early.
That's perfect.
Yeah, stock jokes.
Are there any cities that you haven't been to yet that you want to do, a man on the street?
I want to go back to London. We went to London in COVID. And the funniest joke I did is I said, nobody eats the muffins. I said, they're called English muffins. And I said, I'm going over to the palace to talk to the queen. I'm a little steamed up. And they would look at me and then they laugh. Ha, 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 ha. I said, by the way, I'll take care of the bill. Get down to the dentist, straighten up the teeth.
Ha! Yes, you have to make fun of their teeth.
No. But the English people, for being proper, I filmed it COVID. So I want to go back to London at one point. I've been all over this country. So, U.S. is U.S. But my main focal point the last 2 years has been L.A. And I've been branding very well in L.A. and New York. They're the two main cities. So not as much Vegas, Atlantic City, Florida as much anymore. More the two main hubs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And I feel like if you want to pursue comedy, you don't necessarily have to live in New York City or LA. How it maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, that was pretty much a given that you'd have to get to one of those cities. And now,
but you got to get over to them because they are the hubs. Maybe not living in them.
I guess it depends. If you want to do stand up, then for sure. But like you could blow up on TikTok. Like
I want to do film. I want to actually do film. Believe it or not, I would love to be in a film. And be like that Tom Green guy that goes in the house and opens a refrigerator and goes in your closet, just aggravates you.
You would be great at that.
And with no lines, like I just want to, because I would be funny if you start giving me lines and making me follow that. It's not funny. Just tell me the scene and tell me what's going on. Boom. No script.
Let you be free reign.
Let me be free. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how does your family, how do your dental coworkers feel about the comedy side of you?
So my family, my wife is very quiet. She's Asian.
She's Asian, right?
And and she knows I got a good heart, and she does know I'm like, I'm not gonna say she wholeheartedly supports me. She knows I have to do this. I don't go out and chase girls. I chase fame. It's all about the FOMO with me and getting known. That's really, Chris, at my age, all I want. It's really weird. I told that to Howie.
You feel like your parents ignored you as a kid at all?
Yeah, my
Okay.
upbringing was bad, and my mom was bipolar, and no attention to the kids because dad took care of mom. And it's so sad when you come from a dysfunctional family when you're older, what happens. And I don't wish that on people, but that's the reason that I am how I am. My wife isn't like that. My kids aren't like that. My brother is a little different than me. He was the older one. I think maybe I got more of the brunt. I'm not Chrissy upset about it, but
No.
I have such a desire to be known and loved because I had such a lack of love as a child. And it's sad. And I told that to Howie, and Howie said, who cares? No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. But it is an interesting story. I am an interesting story. You're right. You're right.
I love that you're doing it. Like you're pursuing it. You worked really hard. You had you still have a real job. And I feel I never owned multiple businesses or went into dentistry, but I feel similarly like, yeah, for 15 years I had at least
You know why I went into dentistry,
one or
Chrissy?
two jobs, and then also did comedy on the side.
You know why I became a dentist?
Because you like mouths.
No. My wife told me I pulled out just at the right time. That's
why. Oh, there
you
you
knew it was going
go.
to be a joke. You knew you weren't going to get a straight answer.
I knew it was coming.
You knew what was
Okay.
coming. Yeah.
Okay, that's really neat. Does anybody at work, watch your videos? Do you get comments?
I think the work people do their stuff. I do try not to promote it too much at the office, and I do try to maintain a professional atmosphere because I don't believe the staff and the customers are going to understand that. I do have a few special people that know me, but I do try to keep it separate, to be honest.
You had to be really careful about who, because I found with every job I had, like the more people who knew I did comedy, like the more quickly I think I would be fired from said job.
Right. And you know what's interesting? I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know if you know it, but everybody doesn't want to see you successful, and it's an awful thing to say. But I will tell you this, Chris, it's true. And the tight group of people I have, they said the same thing. And people are mean when you have something that they want, and it's going to happen to you because you're probably already halfway there like me. And I told you earlier in the podcast, please, I do want to further this. And if you threw a cell to me on the DM, I'd call you. We have lunch. I'd talk to you off the cuff about things because you look like you're a really good kid, and you need to know the truth. So you steer the boat right and you go in the right direction, and you got to be very careful with people.
Right. Yeah.
Longer than you, and I've been banged up a little more than you too.
Well, we've been banged up in different ways, Jimmy. No,
banged up meaning hurt by people.
I know.
Not that way.
I kid. No, I love it. We should definitely get lunch. We could definitely tear around Times Square together.
DM me a cell. I this weekend I actually have another Newsmax actually on Saturday with John Schneider, the guy from Dukes of Hazzard.
Nice.
But if you DM me, then I'm going to come in, Chrissy, after the holiday. It's too busy with the shoppers, and if you would come in on a Saturday, you'll be my guest, and we'll have a nice lunch, and you can come out on the street, and I think you'll have fun. Cool. You see what I do, and you seem like you
it's
like
fun, and you can talk to all the black people, and I'll talk to everybody else.
No. Forget the black. I talk to everybody. My wife says to me, "You talk to the mailman and make a joke." I just am a people person. And I just like to be around people. When I travel, I like an entourage. I just like to have the action going on. That's really all I am. And that's because of the lack of the love and the correct upbringing. That's
hey, we all are dealing with something. It's better to be conscious of it and know why we are the way we are and why we crave certain types of attention and it's like you're not out doing drugs or having prostitutes. I just need to talk to strangers.
Drugs. I'm not gambling my money in the casino. I'm a FOMO addict and I want to be famous, but I'm not doing other bad things.
What would Jimmy, when you say you really want to be famous, like what would that look like to you? What would the ideal scenario like reaching the top?
People, they all laugh at me. They go, "Your fame is like Frank Sinatra and Stallone, and you're not going to be famous like that. You may get social media famous like a Theo Von or like that. But I have this brain thing in my brain, and I think maybe there is something wrong with me. I'm unrealistic. I want to go out, Chrissy, where not a couple people know me. I want to be able to go in somewhere where everybody knows me and paparazzi's there.
So you want to be
the whole
swarmed.
What's that?
You want to be swarmed everywhere you go.
Yeah, I got problems. I admitted that to Howie, and he's like, why in the F do you want that? Why do you want that? And I guess it's from my childhood, Chris. I guess it has to be.
Because it feels, yeah, there's part of that feels good. And you know what? It's different if you're a guy too. You're not worried about anybody like physically attacking you or like yelling in your face.
Right.
But I totally get that. I totally get that.
You want that too? Do you want that too? Or do you do comedy?
I don't,
fame like that or no?
You know what's funny? Like if I didn't do comedy, I don't know that I would do very much social media at all. Like as I get older, there are parts of me that feel more introverted, but there's nothing better than making a room full of people laugh at a club. Or
you feel that adrenaline when you can go and entertain people and be loved through comedy.
It's the best feeling. And it's like
feeling, right? And it's not even doing money. You do it for nothing like me, because it makes you feel good inside, right? Honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't have made it this far if I wasn't okay with doing things for nothing. But
all of us are screwed up in the brain.
And part of it is you see people in the crowd like bonding or making friends through shows or different meetups, and like that's really gratifying too, because you're helping people connect with other people who like to laugh.
People become friends with other ones I brought in. Yeah, same thing like you said. So it's a good feeling. It's like a little family, like a little club. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's good. We gotta stay connected. It's good to get out. It's good to get out with the people. Jimmy, you're an absolute delight.
Oh, I love you too. I'm glad you brought me on. Make sure you hit me up on the DM on Instagram, and when I go in, I'll text you on the cell and come in on a Saturday and have lunch and spend the afternoon.
And you have to come in on a Monday so you can do my show on Compound Media at some point.
Okay. So I'd have to take the day off and have notice. But what time does the show go?
My show, we're live 7 to 8 p.m. on Mondays.
I'll have to maybe do that after the holiday.
Okay, cool. Follow Jimmy on Instagram at the Jersey Outlaw. His Linktree link is below. I will put all of these links and handles in the description. Of course, Jimmy is on Twitter at Jimmie Lee Outlaw, and his YouTube is at Jimmie Lee the Jersey Outlaw. And if you have, if you want to send him a pair of white sunglasses, we're
raising money to get more bizarre sunglasses for the new year, as we start season 8 of Dangerously Funny, and we'll be back in LA. I believe our next shoot is scheduled in March. So we need fans to start contributing or buying us more. The more bizarre the white glasses are, the better it is.
Oh, okay. Wow. So you are collecting them.
And Chrissy, when you come out in January, get a pair of white sunglasses and a sweatsuit.
Okay. Oh, wow. I can't wait. Okay. I'll get
a sweatsuit and white glasses. Yep.
If I can find something that fits. Yes, definitely. And I want to know, Jimmy, what's the craziest like dental mishap or like dental shit show you've ever seen? Like, what's the most fucked up tooth situation you've ever encountered?
Do you want me to make a joke of this? You want a real situation?
You could do both.
Well, I did have a lady come in and she took her clothes off. And I said, "What are you doing, lady?" And she says to me, "I want to have these two pulled and this cavity filled." So I threw her out. And then I had a guy that he came in. He said, "Doc, I got yellow teeth." I said, "Go home and wear a brown necktie." He never came back. And the stupid jokes.
They're great jokes.
Did I have like a mishap in dental? There's been times in the dental office, obviously, where people aren't happy and there's problems. I mean, I've been a dentist for over 30 years now. So,
not like a screw up, but like what is like the most like
a bizarre thing that happened? Like something bizarre?
Yeah, or like something really like wrong with someone's teeth or
one day some guy came in, it's about 4 years ago, and he's screaming and he didn't like the denture. And I'm like, where did you go? He goes, well, the Audubon Oral Health Center. I said, well, this is Audubon Family Dentistry. This isn't even, where's that Indian doctor? I said, you're at the wrong office. It's another dentist on the Black Horse Pike. You're on the White Horse Pike. And the guy was screaming at us. We weren't even his dentist. That's a true story. The Audubon office. Yeah. So that's one I do remember. But there's been instances with people, but I wouldn't say anything bad. But that was one that was bizarre because the guy actually thought we made him the denture and he was mad. And we weren't even his dentist. So
my dentist once told me he used to work in DC for, and I forget the names of the politicians, but they're all ones that are still relevant now.
right.
And he worked on Pelosi. He worked on like everybody. He said like the DC politicians have horrible dental hygiene. He said one of the guys, he was literally flossing and he found like pubes in his mouth, and he had insane stories. And I'm like, I love this. Tell me more. But also, doesn't this violate
politicians that we look up to?
Worst dental hygiene, and they like. I was like, doesn't this violate HIPAA? But please tell me more. It was great. He's my favorite.
But I hope no names, right, Chrissy?
Oh, he dropped names. I forget them all.
He dropped names.
Yeah, I forgot them all. I'll probably have him tell me again when I go back. But
So Chris, guess what happened last night?
What?
Well, I came home around 10 o'clock, and my wife was in her nightgown, and at the end table at the end was a cigar, and it was lit. And I said to my wife, Linda, where did that cigar come from? And a voice in the closet, Chrissy, said, would you believe Havana?
Oh, okay.
I'm not waiting for you.
Don't wait for me. No, that was good. I was having a stroke. No, that's very funny.
For Lancaster.
Jimmie, you're the best. No. Everyone follow Jimmie.
But if you follow me too closely, I'll call the cops. All right.
Right. Not too close. We'll have to do something we'll do a collab soon, Jimmie. Thank you to everybody in the chat for
coming in. And Chris, promise you reach out and we'll hook up in January.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you guys. We'll see you real soon. Bye.
Bye, kids.